Georgia, now an Odyssey station.
Live from Carrollton, Georgia, this is Sports Pack.
The only place you need to go for West Georgia sports.
Interviews with all your favorite UWG athletes and so much more.
Keeping you up to date with the NFL, NBA, MLB, and everything in between. If you want it, we got it.
I mean, plain and simple, the worst decision Kalen DeBoer has ever made is taking the head coaching position at Alabama.
I wholeheartedly believe that behind Sean Payton and a second-year Bo Nix, the Denver Broncos can dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs and be the AFC West champions.
We're also giving you a platform to have your voice heard with our all-new live call-in segment.
So where else would you want to go? We've got all you need and more right here on Sports Pack.
What is up, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Sports Pack. I'm Ryan Kroger, your host for the night, with my man on the board, Keyshawn Ward.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We got Noah Prout right next to me.
Yo, what's up, Wolf Sports Network?
And Jackson Schrader right across from me.
How y'all doing?
So, you might be asking, where's Richard? I don't know.
We don't know where Richard's at, but he's away. We got, some
y'all got
familiar
us for
faces
tonight
in some different positions right now, so we're going to have fun. Richard, we're missing you, but we're taking over for the night.
May he rest in peace.
For the night, of course. But before we get into anything, we have a jam-packed show. Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We are collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting the wolfuwg.com/book drive. That's wolfuwg.com/book drive.
And when it comes to fandom, nothing matters more than a fit. The logo you wear solidifies your love. Now you could be a Wolf Sports Network fanatic with our brand new merch store powered by Ozier Apparel. Visit wolfsportsnetwork.com and click about to check out our brand new merch.
And to round it off, college students who binge drank alcohol at least 3 times per week were roughly 6 times more likely to perform poorly on a test or project because of drinking. Dream City Brewing Company, Wolf Sports Network, and Wolf Radio proudly remind you to drink responsibly. Students 21 and over should drink responsibly in an environment that discourages overindulging. Faculty won't take hangovers as excuses.
So, Keyshawn, how about them Wolves?
Is Widener rolls to the right. He's got some time. Everybody's down at the end zone. He heaves it. And it is caught for a touchdown.
We are one. Go Wolves.
So we have had a busy week in the City of Dreams, Carrollton, and outside of it. So let's start with the UWG baseball team. They went on the road to face the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. And what happened? They got 2-hit, 14-0. I was at that game personally, but it just didn't look good. Every 2 batters, there's just a home run given up. But that's what you get with Georgia Tech, one of the best hitting teams in the country. So I'm going to give it over to you, Jackson.
Yes, sir.
What'd you see in this game?
Well, I actually wasn't there. I only saw the highlights, if there were any, on our part. But the fact that you guys drove during rush hour to Atlanta to watch
Through
the
MLK
boys
Boulevard,
get
by the way.
mercy ruled. 14-0 is brutal. I can tell by the box score and kind of what I saw in the highlights. Pitching just wasn't there. It wasn't there early. That's kind of been the story of the entire year. And obviously the bats were not there, getting shut out. But, just not playing complimentary baseball, tough to see.
Yeah, I'm at the agree, man. 14-0 in 7 innings to the current number 3 team in the nation, Georgia Tech. I mean, they just had a dominant start from start to finish. Their bats got off early. They started with one run in the first inning, and then it just kind of piled up from there. And, UWG just never kind of bounced back from that. We only had 2 hits this game from Matthew McCullough and Blaine Schmidt. To go along with 8 strikeouts and 5 different pitchers to try to slow down that Georgia Tech team, but it just never happened. We never stood a chance. But I mean, that's what you got to expect when you're facing these top opponents, and it's only going to make us better for the future. So,
Yeah, for sure. And the one thing that surprised me was Georgia Tech themselves started all their starters while UWG put our backups in for whatever reason. But that's one of the big reasons we probably got 14-0 there. And, you go back to the Auburn game, which we almost won 4-3. And that's kind of what I was expecting in this Georgia Tech game. But
What?
I
You were
was
expecting that, bro? That was a pleasant little surprise.
We kind of got lucky there a little bit.
I mean, it's kind of nice being like, if we played 8 2/3 innings of baseball, like we would have beat the number 7 team in the nation, like in their house. But yeah, no, I would not have expected that against a Georgia Tech team like this.
Hey, all I'm saying, I said this at the beginning of the year, this team is scrappy, and I love it. So I do want to go over to you, Keyshawn, real quick. If you could identify one problem with the UWG team right now, what is the main problem with the baseball team?
Outside of pitching, I would have to say, we're just not. We're not dominant enough, right? We go against these top-ranked teams, and we just can't seem to get our bats hot. They're just way better than us, and this is our second year D2, so this is something that we have to expect and just adjust to as we go. But looking forward, I expect some of our dugouts to get a little bit more playing time. Kind of rotate the pitchers a little bit more. Try out some of our young guys at the diamond to try to get us going a little bit. But other than that. It's not looking good right now. We're 3-14. Hopefully, we could, turn things around in the middle of the season. Try to fight for some type of playoff contention. But right now, it's not looking good for our Wolves.
Don't everybody speak at all time? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna ask me the same question as well, I think there's a plethora of problems, right? You could say, yeah, obviously, pitching is not doing good at all. They've been our Achilles heel, but you got two heels for a reason, right? Because the hitting's not doing the same thing either. The hitting really, I mean, when you need it to come up clutch, it doesn't, right? When we have games where the pitching's working, like that Auburn game, right? That was a low-scoring game, and our bats could not get the insurance runs we needed. We just needed one or two more in that 8th or 9th inning to kind of separate ourselves from Auburn, and we couldn't get it. And that's kind of what you see here in the 14 losses that we have. It's just not complimentary baseball, but especially the bats not showing up when you need them to.
yeah, no, you got anything on that?
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of small errors that the baseball team makes that will extend the innings for their opponents. And we mentioned the pitching, we mentioned run production being low. Stronger teams like this Georgia Tech team that we just faced is going to expose all three of these issues at once.
Yeah, and here's the one thing about the baseball team, and we start conference play in the City of Dreams this Saturday against Jacksonville, a game on Friday, game on Saturday, and a game on Sunday, but they have the #1 strength and schedule in the ASUN. So the one thing I'm going to say about this baseball team is they're battle tested, and they're ready for whatever the ASUN is going to throw at them. So, and I think we were talking to Murgo this morning, the pitching coach for West Georgia, and he said he's overly confident and very confident on what's going to go on in the ASUN because they thought that the pitchers were a little scared or not, a little intimidated as far as it goes going against the Georgia Tech team. But, they're battle tested. They're ready to go go against Jacksonville this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So be there in the City of Dreams at Cole Field and show out.
Dreams.
City of Dreams. Now over to the other diamond, softball. Your Lady Wolves lost 8-0 against the University of Georgia. And they're here home versus Jacksonville, 3-game series, doubleheader on Saturday, 1 game on Sunday. So going to all of y'all, what are y'all expectations with this softball team going into this weekend after the loss at UGA 8-0?
Hopefully we could extend innings past 5, right? Let's not have another run rule here. We got to get our bats going a little bit more. We only had 3 total hits that game with no opportunities and no runners deep into scoring position to really give ourselves a chance. So, going forward, not only just this weekend with the Jacksonville, but throughout the entire season, we got to get onto a hot start quicker. And we can't allow ourselves to dig ourselves in the holes because we want to play more ball than just 5 innings, right? We don't want to. That's both our women's and men's team got run ruled. We don't want that to happen again. That's a little bit embarrassing. And we're playing all around the university right now, so we don't need that kind of negative energy being pushed out. So, hopefully we could kind of, find our spark a little bit. Then we could find something positive to say about the baseball and softball team, and, hopefully things play out.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Going forward against Jacksonville, we really got to focus on the situational hitting because, as you mentioned, we only had 3 hits against Georgia. And we got to limit the free bases because that's something Georgia really took advantage of during that game.
Now, mind you, this is a really great Georgia team. They were ranked 13, so got to give our ladies a little bit of little bit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt.
Benefit.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you right there. But you need these type of games. You need these tough opponents because we're D1 now. We're not D2. We can't let that be an excuse as to why we lost. Right? We're in the same competition in the same division, so we just got to be better overall.
Yeah, and you look at Georgia, right? It's a top 15 ranked team. They're in the SEC. SEC softball is a big deal. We're obviously not there. I do wish the girls put up a better performance against Georgia. But this Jacksonville series is big because it's the start of conference play. And what does conference play mean? It means there's postseason repercussions in every single game. And you're trying to get to the ASUN tournament, right? That's our goal. We can't do anything outside of the ASUN tournament. Right. And so winning the ASUN tournament's a big deal for our girls. And so I think that motivation is going to bring a lot. It's going to find its way onto the field. And so I think going into this Jacksonville series, you're going to see a team that's a little more hungry than they have been in these other games. Because I'm not going to say they're meaningless, but outside of the big sphere of what we're playing for, they don't matter quite as much as these ones. These conference games are what matters because this puts us where we want to go.
This puts you in a tournament.
Exactly. This puts us in that tournament. And so they're going to go into these games with a little more tenacity, a little more fight, and I think that's what you're going to see out of the girls against Jacksonville.
Yeah, for sure. And so we hope to see softball sweep Jacksonville this weekend. So be there and show out. So one more thing. Men's basketball just wrapped up, made it to the second round of the ASUN tournament, which means now transfers are going in and out. And we're going to talk about one person in particular, and that's Brady Hardawig. Entered the transfer portal this morning, and he was a solid asset, especially for the West Georgia Wolves. Was a solid three-point shooter, had a good exterior defense when he was on the court, put solid minutes in last season. So how big of a hit is West Georgia going to take, Noah, losing Brady Hardawig and losing that shot from the three-point range?
I mean, it's definitely a big hit. I mean, a three-point shooter like that is going to affect the roster continuity across all ranges for the West Georgia team. But coaching staff, they face this every year. Roster rebuilds through the portal and the recruiting cycle. I mean, I think we can really reload and get ready for next season.
Yeah, for sure. And then, Schrader, I'm going to bring this one to you. Where do you see when Brady Hardawig finally makes his name somewhere? How do you think he's going to perform wherever he ends up?
Yeah, I really like Brady. He's been here all 3 years that I've been at West Georgia. He was a freshman my freshman year, I believe. And I kind of thought he was a Dave Moore guy. I thought, he kind of rode the bench that first year, played a little bit. The second year, kind of thought that he was just there to learn under Coach Moore. Seeing that he's leaving now, I mean, he's going to be successful. He's a good type of player. He's a plug-in player, right? He's a guy that can shoot. He can play good perimeter defense. Every team needs a guy that can shoot and a guy that can play good perimeter defense. So he's going to find his way somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be much more than a mid-major school, probably a really comparable school to West Georgia. But, yeah, kind of sad to see him go, but excited to see what he can do at his next school.
Yeah, so that's all the time we have for UWG. So let's go to the NFL, Keyshawn.
In the NFL, only one thing matters: chasing a dynasty.
That's right, Richard. Even though you're not here, we got you on the audio, so
That's
good
right,
for that.
Richard.
Yeah, so the free agency has been absolutely nuts going into the 26-27 season, whatever that might look like with every other team. But the main thing that we should talk about is the Max Crosby trade. And he was supposed to go to the Ravens for a couple draft picks and some good stuff, and he didn't pass his physical.
Yeah, I'm at the agree. the Ravens backed out of the trade due to conditions with Crosby's knee, right? So he failed the physical due to a minor injury to his knee, which allowed the Ravens to back out, right? So they retained their first round picks, and in response to that, they went out and signed Trey Henderson from the Bengals, who's a phenomenal player. He's, I would say, on the same skill set as Max Crosby. He was injured this past season, but before that, he had 17.5 sacks on back-to-back seasons. So, I kind of like this pickup better than the Max Crosby one because they get a talented edge rusher. They signed him to a long-term deal, and they still keep their first-round pick this year and next year. So, I like what the Ravens did. We'll just have to see how Max Crosby plays out with the Raiders. If he stays or if he gets traded, we don't know yet. But that asking price is not going to be the same as it was for the Ravens, because now every team in the NFL knows he has this knee problem. So, you're not going to be getting 2 first-round picks for him. You might get a first this year and possibly a second or a third next year. But, regardless, he's still an asset. He's still a comfortable player. He's an elite player. He still has more in the tank. I don't think that knee injury will affect him too much. So, we just got to wait for him to get healthy and see if he stays or goes.
Yeah, this was really tough for the Raiders because they traded him to Baltimore. And then they set out this whole free agency plan that they started to execute on, thinking they had $30 million more than they did, right? Because when Crosby got sent back, the $30 million in cap that they freed when they sent him to Baltimore, it's all of a sudden it's not there no more.
Yep.
And so I do not think that Max Crosby will be a Raider. I find it very hard to believe. I think they're just going to trade him anyway. Somebody's going to take on his salary. Somebody's going to take him. He's an elite level edge rusher, right? And so it's just weird because now you got Vegas going, oh crap, like we have all these guys, like you saw, they signed everybody and their mother on Monday, right? And so they have all these guys that they want to sign now that they don't have the money for. So they got to get rid of somebody, or they're not signing some guys. Pretty sure they're just going to send Crosby elsewhere because there's a plethora of buyers that want him, and I think they can still get really good value for the guy.
Yeah, speaking of that Raiders team, they've looked like the best team that's been doing the most of free agency. They brought in center Tyler Linderbaum and made him the highest paid center of all time with $31 million. They brought in Kwity Paye from the Colts. He's a pretty solid asset. He's most likely going to be the replacement for Max Crosby when he gets shipped away. They brought in Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, and Jalen Naylor. He's probably going to be their decent slot guy, receiver 3. So, they've been making plenty of moves. They're rebuilding. They're getting their guys in. Like you said, that Max Crosby contract, now that he's back, they're going to have to pay him that money up until he gets traded. I still believe he gets traded, though. But, the Raiders offseason has been looking ecstatic right now. I'm excited for them.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Raiders as well. But when we talk about all the guys they sign, and then all of a sudden they got to take Max Crosby back, I honestly think this affects the Ravens more significantly than it does the Raiders. Because we talk about the free agents that the Ravens are losing, and then the Raiders are taking all these guys back in. And this is a team that had $130 million in cap space to spend. They're getting all these guys, and they're bringing back their star defensive end. Putting aside that the Ravens got Trey Hendrickson, I think they still got a lot of holes to fill, and I'm a little worried about the Ravens.
Yeah, for sure. And it was definitely weird that Max Crosby got traded, but I think it was a good thing for the Raiders to kind of make space when they're trying to rebuild. But to get Max Crosby back is definitely not a bad thing. He's a heck of a defensive guy, so definitely a good asset that Raiders are able to hold on to. So we're going to switch onto a different team now, and we're going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons a little bit and how they just released Kirk Cousins because they did just sign Tua Tagovailoa, so this does free up space for Atlanta to build a roster elsewhere in a different position. So I just want to get your guys' thoughts on that. Did you think Kirk Cousins had another year in Atlanta, or is it a good thing for him to go another place?
The thing is, he did not. They kind of screwed him over. He honestly, to me, he got blackballed. He got blackballed because they signed him to, I believe it was a 4-year deal, and then they drafted Michael Penix months later, and that kind of messed them up, and that set them back for years to come, and it's still going to set them back because regardless if they release him, he still has guaranteed money that the Falcons are going to have to pay him. So while it does free up a little bit, they're still locked up until they could finish paying him off. But as far as Kirk Cousins go, he's a free agent now. He could sign with whoever, and this is great news for these other QB needy teams like the Cardinals or the Steelers. We don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, if he's going to return to retire. So for Kirk Cousins, he has the chance now to go on his little Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold run, kind of revive his career. But honestly, he got blackballed by the Atlanta Falcons. So we're just gonna have to see how the Falcons come back from that. They signed Tua to a 1-year deal. They got him and Michael Penix, the 2 injury boys. Them 2 are going to have a statue sitting right outside of Grady Memorial Hospital. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this next upcoming season. But with the new money that they now have, I would love to see them make a move in free agency for a top guy. Maybe bring in a Tyreek Hill, or it's still a lot of great assets in free agency for them to go grab. So we'll just have to see what they do. They rarely ever do anything. So far, they really haven't done much. So one thing about the Falcons, they're always going to keep falconing. So
go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeing the Kirk Cousins situation play out, I can respect your opinion on it, but me being a Packers fan, having been in this kind of situation before, Favre to Rodgers, Rodgers to Love, I can respect the approach that Falcons were trying to take with it, like passing the torch quarterback to quarterback. But when we talk about Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, comparing Aaron Rodgers to Kirk Cousins is kind of like apples to oranges. I mean, you're not going to get that kind of transition from Kirk Cousins to Michael Penix Jr. like that, because that's Hall of Famer going and training a rookie quarterback. Kirk Cousins isn't that caliber. So, I mean, I can respect the approach the Falcons were trying to take, but I don't really think it was there in the first place. But now that he's out of the picture, we got younger guys like Tua and Michael Penix Jr. they can build a team around.
Yeah, I don't know if the Falcons' goal was necessarily for Kirk Cousins to mentor Penix in the way that Rodgers did Love and Favre did Rodgers, simply because Cousins did not really know. Cousins took it, and he didn't know that. He didn't know that Penix was going to be on the team, right? They just kind of signed him they drafted him out of nowhere with a pick that they should have taken an edge rusher, right? So they do that, and it throws Kirk Cousins through a loop. He ends up not succeeding in that first year. They put Penix in. Penix ends up not necessarily being the guy that they think he is. He gets injured. They throw Kirk back in there. Kirk kind of wins a little bit, but I think it's one of the most it's the news of the day, in the sense that there's nothing special about it. Everybody saw it coming.
So I got one more thing. Just in, Kyler Murray is expected to sign with the Vikings at some point in the recent future.
Yes.
So if you thought he was going anywhere else, well, you're wrong. He's going to the Vikings. So real quick before we end this segment, thoughts on that, guys?
I absolutely love this move. They're doing the same thing with Sam Darnold, He's got Justin Jefferson, and maybe Jordan Addison to throw to. I absolutely love the move.
And I'm looking at it now. It's saying that he's going to agree to terms on a 1-year contract. So with that, I wonder if the Vikings are bringing him in with the intentions to start him right away and just keep J.J. McCarthy on the bench behind him and kind of let him learn. But, I'm interested to see how that plays out, right? Because if Kyler Murray comes in and he turns this team around, we're looking at J.J. McCarthy getting shipped off before the season even ends, right? So, I wonder how things are going to play out there. If this true, if he ends up signing with Minnesota, I like the pick for both teams, or for Kyler and the Vikings as well. But we're just going to see things play out. I'm excited to see what J.J. McCarthy happens with them as well.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that he's probably on that it's probably a 1-year deal with a veteran minimum,
right,
simply because he's getting paid like $33 million from the Cardinals to not be there, which is why personally I wanted y'all's Falcons. I wanted the hometown team to go get him, because he is a very low investment. And I think just that mobility that would be added to that offense would have been purely elite. But now seeing that in Minnesota, I do think they're going to start him. They're probably going to let McCarthy sit, which I think McCarthy might need. Right? He might need a year where he can sit and be healthy under a veteran quarterback, learn from that quarterback. If Kyler Murray's the guy, they probably won't keep him because that's not what they do. But That way you have a guy mentoring JJ McCarthy. If not, you have a guy that can just take the franchise.
Yeah, and I was going to hit on that because what if Kyler Murray comes in and have the same season that Sam Darnold had? You know, they made the mistake of Sam Darnold had a great year, and then they didn't bring him back. And that ultimately ended up in, you know, JJ McCarthy becoming a starter. They ended up having a bad season, and their GM ended up getting fired. So, you know, if Kyler comes in and have a stellar season, I wonder if they're going to, you know, keep him in and trade JJ off, or they're still going to, you know, not bring Kyler back and still trust JJ. So, you know, that's an interesting sign right there. I wonder how that's going to play out.
So that's all the time we have for this segment. And we're going to let you know all the things going around on Wolf Sports Network. Don't go anywhere, though, because we're going to talk about the World Baseball Classic, some spring training, and some basketball. Don't go anywhere. WSN, Wolf Sports Network.
Wait a minute. Is this what I think it is? Wii Sports? Let's try something. Let me tell you all about this show on Wolf Sports Network. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. It's the playbook. Hear us talk about all of college football, basketball, and baseball. Mondays from 9 to 10 p.m. The Playbook on Wolf Sports Network.
What's up? This is Parker Andell, and I'm the newest voice of Sports Out of Pocket. Step into Lucky Season 7, where the odds are in our favor. Crazy insights, hidden stories, and conversations that will pay off every single time. With a fresh season and a fresh voice, Lucky Sevens is here. Tune in to Sports Out of Pocket every Wednesday at 6, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Join Sports Out of Pocket as they take their show on the road. Their hit social media series returns this spring with even more West Georgia athletes.
We are here with West Georgia Wolves O-lineman, Mr. Jack Hunt. Jack, how's your day going, man?
My day's going fantastic, man. I'm blessed every single day.
And ending off with some karaoke.
You're hurting me, I met your girl, what a difference.
Look out for new episodes every Friday on Instagram and YouTube on Wolf Sports Network.
So welcome back to WSN Wolf Sports Network, Sports Pack here. And before we get into anything, when you look good, you feel good. When it fits you, you feel good. Now you can rep your favorite college station with our brand new merch store powered by Osier Apparel. Visit the wolfuwg.com and click About. So we're going to talk a little bit about the World Baseball Classic going into, because it's a big thing now. And
it's worldwide.
Yeah.
And I was
classic, baby.
I was 1 month old when I found out that Israel had a baseball team. I didn't know baseball was a thing out there, but you learn something new every day.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the big topics we're going to talk about right now is that the United States was on the verge of elimination yesterday, and Italy had to win against Mexico for them to go forward, which did happen. So the United States did advance to the elimination round, but the United States lost to Italy, and they went 4-0 in pool play with an espresso machine in their dugout. So I don't know what's going on there, but thoughts on guys out in Italy going 4-0 and the United States advancing after losing to them, but them winning to let them advance.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that Italy went 4-0 out of all the teams in our pool. But Italy going 4-0 really shocked me, especially the way that they beat the United States. I mean, they were up 8-0. They held on at the end. It was, 8-6?
8-6.
Final score. So they really held on, but it ended up, it was a pretty dominant performance by the Italians. The espresso machine's fun, but I do got to shout out Jacob Marcy, center fielder for Italy, hit the double to give Italy 5 runs, which somehow put the U.S. into the elimination round. It's kind of weird, Italy just needed to score 5 runs, which I don't really know how that works without wins and losses, but I'll take it. Jacob Marcy, Miami Marlin, did it for us. Mr. America yesterday. Good to see. Really excited for the rest of the
And I'm going to welcome in real quick Riley Ford to my right.
The GOAT.
Replacing Noah just for a couple segments. So welcome in, Riley. How you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, friends.
So same question. What do you think about Italy going 4-0 and as well as the United States advancing to the elimination round?
Obviously, if you're the U.S. team, you don't want your fate in the hands of another team.
Absolutely.
But thankfully, you've gotten through, and that is just what you need to do sometimes. And now you just need that reset going into this elimination round. The bracket is relatively favorable for you. Japan is on the other side, and you're just looking to this game against Canada right now, looking for a reset, looking for a morale boost. In terms of Italy, obviously a really impressive run. I don't think anyone would have thought Italy was going to go 4-0. Not at all. But I think, they're proving themselves to be a legitimate contender here. Obviously, going up 8-0 against the U.S., which a lot of people had as like the number one team going in, is impressive. So I think they just need to show it now in this elimination stage.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that they have to do against Canada that they didn't do it against Italy is just, get started early, right? It took you 6 innings to finally get a point on the board. So we got to start off, a little faster with the names that we have. I expected a lot better than the performance we put up against Italy. That kind of shocked me. It was definitely an upset of the tournament so far. Mm-hmm. But, this game against Canada is definitely a bounce back game. We beat them in hockey. Hopefully we could do the same in baseball. So
yeah, it'd be really nice to be able to just beat Canada in everything this year. I mean, that would just send spring break, kick spring break off on a high note. But you look at Canada, they look really solid. I think, are they undefeated or are they 3-1?
They're 3-1.
3-1. I mean, they got some dogs on that team. I'm personally excited yet again just to bring the Marlins into it. With Owen Casey and Otto Lopez, I mean, they had one of the best relays I've seen from left field, right to the shortstop, right to home, just boom, boom, boom play. They're great out in the field. They're hitting really well. I mean, they're kind of playing perfect, just complimentary baseball. Nothing that they're doing is elite or, absolutely shocks you or is out of the ordinary. They're just going in there and taking care of business. They're playing good enough baseball, which is really good. They're like the Sam Darnold of the WBC, right? They're just doing enough. And so that's kind of spooky because the U.S. has a lot of pressure. They have one of the best lineups that baseball has ever seen in best on best. And now they're playing a team that's they're running off the power of friendship. They're doing it well. Nobody's expecting Canada to beat us, right? And so the U.S. kind of has this added pressure. They've already been upset by Italy, so they know that they're mortal. So it's going to be a really interesting game to see how the U.S. can take that pressure. And how Canada, what if they get their get back in America's pastime? It's going to be heartbreaking.
For sure. And let's talk about the last 5 for both teams. So the United States beat Brazil 15-5, Great Britain 9-1, Mexico 5-3, but of course lost that Italy game 8-6, which we just touched on. But let's talk about Canada's last 5 or 4. So back in 2023, they lost to Mexico 10-3, and then in 2026 they beat Colombia, lost to Panama, but beat Puerto Rico and Cuba. So when you look at this Canada team, they're all over the place because they lost to Panama, but they beat Puerto Rico and Cuba.
That's crazy.
So what are we looking at here, guys? Because Canada can obviously beat really good teams, but they also lost to a not very good team.
It's what they've done more recently. They've beaten better teams more recently. Baseball is a game that's really how hot are you right now. And they're a pretty hot baseball team right now. They're playing really well. They're beating really good teams. I mean, you beat Puerto Rico, you can beat anybody. So that's just how it is. And so if you're playing at this level right now, that's the Canada team you're going to get. You're not going to get the Canada team that lost to Panama few games back. You're going to play the ones that beat these teams more recently. So you're going to be playing a hot baseball team.
And talking about coming in hot, the U.S. couldn't be colder. They're coming off the loss to Italy. Skubal is no longer going to be in the pitching rotation, and that could be a huge struggle for them. He's been great for the entire time. And so you have a red-hot Canada team versus a U.S. team that's been on ice, and I think it's going to be a really great game, honestly.
Yeah, speaking of the pitching matchup, we got for the United States, Logan Webb.
Nice.
And for Canada, the Brave, used to be a Brave, Michael Soroka on the mound, on the bump for Canada. So should be a good game in that department, a good pitchers duel. But talking about pitchers a little more for the United States, Skubal, Wacha, and Yarbrough are all being replaced to go back to their MLB teams. So 3 big names that we lost. I'm going to hit this over to you, Keyshawn. What are we looking at here? Or Schrader?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take this. I mean, this is one of those things, it's getting a little controversial, like on social media for no reason, right? Because if you're telling me, like, yeah, playing for your country's awesome, but if the country is not paying your salary, and the people that are paying your salary, like, these are opening day starters. A good bit of them are. Like I know the Cubs pitcher was told by the Cubs, hey, you can either be our opening day starter or you can pitch the rest of this tournament. He's 100% going to go take that gig to be the opening day starter for the Cubs. Same thing with Skubal and the Tigers. But Skubal, he's in a contract year. So if he gets hurt in this tournament, kind of like we saw Edwin Diaz get hurt, that's a contract year. Like, he needs to be healthy. He needs to go back to Detroit or go back to Jupiter, wherever they are, and just practice with the guys that pay the bills. And that's what you're seeing these guys doing. They're playing for the guys that pay the bills. And it's frustrating as a fan because you want to see your country's best represent the country. But if they're being told by these guys, hey, we need you for your actual job, that's where they're going to go.
I'm gonna have to agree. I mean, obviously, you want to put on for the country, right? But like Schrader alluded to, the MLB, their actual teams is paying them more than the USA is. We're in spring training right now, but obviously opening day is coming up soon. You want these guys healthy in a tip-top shape possible. You want them, ready to go. So, as a fan, it is kind of frustrating to not see them on the big stage, but as a former athlete myself, I can understand where they're coming from, and you just don't want to risk it, So I fully understand it.
Yeah, totally understand it. So here's the big question, guys. We've talked about USA. We've talked about Canada. We've talked about all the changes. Who is going to win the World Baseball Classic? I'm going to start with you, Schrader. Going to go to Keyshawn, and I'm going to go to all of y'all. But Schrader, who's going to win?
Yeah, first of all, that's my man Riley.
I know. It is Riley.
He forgot his name.
That is the GOAT.
I'm sorry, Riley. My bad.
Yeah, there's still so many guys. I mean, the U.S. could catch fire again. The U.S. could kind of do that. Oh, crap. We're mortal. Okay, let's lock in. I just don't know. They haven't really shown me that. I really like this Dominican Republic team. This Dominican Republic team is playing exactly how I said they would, right? They're having fun, dude. They are tearing up. I mean, they're hitting the ball. Juan Soto's hitting that ball farther than I'll ever go in life. You got guys on that team that are just consistently putting the ball in play. They're taking care of business, and they're having a good time doing it. I really personally think that this Dominican Republic team is gonna be the team that takes it if it is not the United States.
I'm a Patriot through and through, right? I'm going to go with the USA, right? Hometown team, going to go with the USA. The team is loaded. Obviously, we know that with the big names that they have. But I don't let this loss to Italy define us, right? It's one loss. You don't want that loss, but things are going to happen. So against Canada, I believe that they're going to bounce back, and they're going to use that frustration from that Italy game. They carried them throughout the entire tournament. So I'm looking for our guys to bounce back, catch a little fire throughout later in the tournament, and really take it home for us.
I have some good news, Trader, because I also think the DR has this.
See, this is why I remember his name. This is Riley. He's the GOAT, dude. He is the GOAT.
Everything Schrader said, I think, is absolutely true. And then sometimes you just got to be simple. You got to look at optics. The DER gets to play Korea in the first round, a relatively easy team. And then they play the winner of the U.S. or Canada. The U.S. looking mortal, Canada looking mortal as well. Meanwhile, I would say Japan is probably the other big favorite on the other side of the bracket. And they have to go through a really tough Venezuela team and then either Puerto Rico or a fire red Italy team. And so when you look at the bracket, when you see the DR players having fun, Juan Soto doing his thing, his heroics, I think they have a really great shot, honestly.
Yeah, for me personally, I want to go with the United States, but have you guys seen the way Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic have been playing recently, and the energy they play with and the enthusiasm? And even when they were playing each other to win the pool, they were loving on each other. They were like, the energy was high. Everything was going good. You saw Juan Soto. You saw Ronald Acuna just bringing it in after the game. Catchers saying hi to batters. So I honestly am going to go either Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, or USA. I don't know which one, but any of them could be. Schrader, what are you looking
If
at?
you're
me
going to
for?
say Ronald Acuna, you got to say Venezuela because that's where he's playing, bro.
My apologies.
And don't count out Venezuela. I didn't name Venezuela, but Venezuela's kind of balling too. They've been having, I mean, that whole pool that was in Miami, honestly, almost all of those teams I look at and I'm like, yeah, they could do it. Like Venezuela, you got the Dominican, I mean, all those guys, they're just making baseball fun. They're playing baseball like they're kids in the backyard or in the sandlot playing ball, and it's just working. And so either of those teams, yes, but Ronald Acuna is a Venezuelan legend.
For sure. And then we're just going to go into some other sports. Keyshawn, hit the button. So, going off of the WBC, we also got the MLB. And spring training is, in no pun intended, full swing. And the Atlanta Braves are 12-4, behind the Giants 15-3. But this is definitely a good thing to see from the Braves, guys. If they can stay healthy, you think they can go all the way?
Oh, I hate the Braves. I hope not. I really hope not. I don't know. If they stay healthy is a big if because they're already not. I mean, they already have guys that are out for a very long period of time. And it is spring training. Like, you're playing scrubs against scrubs, especially right now with the WBC. You know, you got a lot of guys that just aren't going to be on the team playing each other. So, yeah, I don't know. I hope not.
Schrader, how's those Miami Marlins looking in spring training, huh?
I mean, considering we have a lot of players at the WBC, spring training record isn't great. But a lot of our starters are not playing right now. Kyle Stowers has been out for about a week with a hamstring sprain. You got Sanoja, Marcy, Casey, Otto Lopez. You got a bunch of guys just not playing. And so I don't really know. I mean, they're okay. They're kind of like trading wins and losses. Mets are kind of beating up on us every time we play them. But, I mean, what's new, you know? But a lot of these guys right now, spring training, it's just meh. You're not getting a great product. I mean, some of the pitchers are doing okay, but I'm not looking at spring training right now as the outlook of our team.
So here's one thing I want to talk about, and this is a big thing to the MLB now, and it just got implemented in this spring training, but it's the ABS system that you can now challenge balls and strikes no matter where you're at. You get 2 per game. If you're wrong, you're wrong. You lose the challenge, but you retain your challenge, of course, if you get the ABS challenge. And I want to go around, what does this mean for the game of baseball? We're going to start with you, Keyshawn. What does it mean for the game of baseball, especially with the ABS challenge, being able to contest and challenge the umpires if their calls are right and wrong?
You know, I find it very beneficial because, you know, some of these wrong calls, they're going to get reversed, right? You're going to see a lot of challenges. While it might slow down the game and the pace of the game, you know, it's still you have to factor in the fact that every call has to be right. That call is going to, you know, that's going to pan out how the game is going to go for the remaining of the innings. So I like it. You know, hopefully it doesn't interfere with the pace of, you know, the flow of the game. But if this is something that they're looking to implement into the game and it's going to be very beneficial and effective immediately, you know, I don't see no negative thoughts about it.
Yeah, I think this is something, it's interesting to me. I'm a big fan of, this is going to sound pretty stupid, the human error side of baseball. I think the umpires making the calls themselves, while it can be really annoying, it's a whole side to the game that players learn, right? Learning the ump's zone, that's part of it. You adapt to how the ump is calling the game. I don't hate it because it doesn't actually take that away. Because if you get a call, like if you get a challenge wrong, you only get 2 of them. If you get both of them wrong in the first inning, you don't have any more for the rest of the game. But it's going to be interesting to see how umpires adjust. I feel like they're going to be a little more nervous to make what could be a controversial call, or if it's kind of on the edge, they'll probably just call it a strike, or, you know, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, I think it's good for the game in a sense, but I don't want it to progress past this because I don't want it to get robotic. I think the human error of an umpire is just part of the game. And people are going to realize that it's part of the game that we enjoy more than we think we do once it would be gone.
I think right now it's a great move as a fan, knowing that my team has some agency in how calls go. I think it's really well balanced. I think having 2 challenges is a nice sweet spot between giving a lot of agency to the team, but also not invalidating umpires as a whole. And so I like it right now as a fan, but I think, Schrader, you make some really interesting points about the human error that's in baseball, as well as just how that can make games more interesting. And so I want to see it evolve a little more. I want to see it play out maybe in some actual league games. For now, I'm a big fan, but it's tentative.
Yeah, it can definitely get out of hand if you keep adding to it, but I like where it's at right now. Schrader, I like what you said. Don't want to get past this point because you don't want the game of baseball to get robotic, and that's what everybody was afraid of when the ABS challenge came through. So, I love baseball so much, but we're going to get off this subject now, and we're going to go to a milestone that happened just the other night. Miami Heat, Bam Adebayo had 83 points. Wow. So, what's y'all's takes on this? I got to know.
You know, it's mind-blowing, right? Never in a million years did I thought Bam Adebayo would be the one to break Kobe's record, right? I would have thought it would be Curry, Durant, or even Ant, but Bam, he's a great player. I didn't think he was this great, though, but, 83 points. Even though he shot 7 for 22, he was pulling up from deep, right? They all came in the first half. If he didn't sit out half of that second quarter, he very likely could have broken Will's record and went past 100. So, a big milestone for Bam and the Miami organization as a whole. Although he did it to the Washington Wizards, they are a terrible team. It is something that you cannot look past. You cannot discredit no matter what. I've seen a couple people, state the fact that he had 36 free throws, right? Well, he couldn't foul himself, right? All you could do is blame the Wizards for that. All you got to do is just credit him for making a free throw. So, huge ups to Bam Adebayo and that Miami organization. Hopefully he keep this momentum up, and he's going to go down in one of the record books.
Yeah, I mean he is in the record book.
He is
second all time in scoring in the say what you want about Wilt's record. Like, there is no proof that it happened. It's a little fishy. Like, there's no video.
Will did that.
Maybe, but we never know. What we do know is that on a random Tuesday night, Bam Adebayo did this. So, guys, shoot your shot. If Bam Adebayo can do this on a Tuesday night, you can do it too, maybe. But, this is great to see because, he had, 43 free throw
he
attempts?
attempted 43,
He didn't foul himself, kind of like you said. He still scored 83 points. You tried to bring up, it was against the Wizards. Hey, 82
matter.
Different teams. The Wizards are played 82 times a year. All right? Like there's a lot of chances for people to do the same thing, and they're not doing it. Right. No matter what you want to say, nobody else has scored 83 points in a game, so it obviously can't be that easy. So don't make up an excuse to make it seem less impressive, because it's super impressive. Now, it's just goofy that it's Bam and not one of the guys that's like the face of the league. I'm here for it as a Heat fan. Like, our defensive, our defense first forward. Yeah, let's give that man 83 points. It's great to see. But yeah, it's awesome. I think it's cool for the game because it put a lot of publicity into the NBA. Right, the NBA is kind of not getting as much attention as it's used to. I don't think it's the league on right now. I'm not gonna lie. I think the NHL is starting to kind of grow to the point where the NBA is gonna struggle because they go on at the exact same time. And this put a lot of publicity on the NBA, which is great for the league. And so, yeah, great to see Bam do it as a Heat fan. Selfishly, it's pretty darn awesome.
As you guys have been alluding to, I really think this is just a record, and you can't discredit it, really. You can say, it was against the Wizards. Well, Wilt's 100-point game was against the Knicks team with, 20 wins.
They had plumbers on their team.
Yeah. And don't forget the electricians. What are you doing?
But, that's just what happens. Obviously, the bad teams will have more points scored against them, and then you can talk about the free throws. You can call it unethical hoops or whatever. And yeah, it was blatant near the end.
But it was still hoops.
In 30 years, though, it's going to be in the record book, and we're all going to forget about how it happened. We're just going to remember that it did happen. So big ups to Bam, and hopefully this is a really great showing for his future, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. So that's going to wrap up our general sports segment, and we're going to let you know what's going on here at Wolf Sports Network. This is Sports Pack. Don't go anywhere because we're going to talk a little bit about college basketball and make some game picks. WSN, Wolf Sports Network.
WSN, Wolf Sports Network, will have you covered this West Georgia basketball season with Inside the Coliseum, our 30-minute pregame show that will start 1 hour before select home games.
But we saw his ability to make those tough shots. He is a shooter, and he was second in scoring behind Shelton Williams-Dryden.
I think we just need to get everybody the ball as much as possible. I think we need to throw the rock around.
Join us as we cover both the men's and women's basketball seasons from inside the Coliseum.
When you think about college sports, what do you think of?
Campus legends like Haynes King and Diego Pavia.
What if I told you there was a show for that and more?
More?
Playbook is your one-stop listen for college football, basketball, on Wolf Sports Network. It's a new semester here at West Georgia, and that means a brand new season of sports out of pocket.
I love Jameis Winston to death, but look at the guy. Like, come on, that's not the veteran quarterback that I want to be. He's a locker room guy.
They got Jonathan Taylor back there. It's like having Saquon, just a little bit worse, but it's like having Saquon.
Tune in to Season 7 of Sports Out of Pocket every Wednesday at 6, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Tune in to Wolf Sports Network throughout the week to hear the very best in UWG sports coverage. Catch live shows, score updates, and breaking news all week long. But sometimes seeing really is believing. And now you can watch your favorite Wolf Sports Network shows live on YouTube. Follow at Wolf Sports Network on YouTube as we bring you into the studio with your favorite shows and personalities. Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
So welcome back, and today we are going to be talking a little bit about, excuse me, I had to turn up my microphone.
You're good, baby.
I was trying to wonder why I couldn't hear myself, so I lost train of thought. But we're going to do some game picks, so let's remind the viewers of our policy.
Sportspack and Wolf Sports Network are not liable for any financial losses that may occur due to using our picks outside of the show. These are just our opinions. Don't blame us. Blame the players.
That is right. Don't blame us. Blame the players. We have no superstition here at Sports Pack, but if we did, we would have bigger problems. Anyways, we're going to talk first about a rivalry that's brewing, UNC versus Clemson. What's y'all's picks on this one?
You know, obviously, I want to go UNC, but Clemson honestly has been red hot as of recent. They're 23-9. They're fourth in the AFC, and they're trying to play their way into, you know, the national tournament, right? As we all know, Selection Sunday is this Sunday, so you know this game is going to be big for both teams, you know. But as of recent, Clemson, they're on a 2-game winning streak, winning back-to-back games against Georgia Tech and Wake Forest, getting ready for number 19th North Carolina. And you know that North Carolina team is a great team. They've been without their star player Caleb Wilson, who was out for the season with a broken thumb, I believe, which he did in practice dunking as trying to make his return. So that's very unfortunate for the UNC team, but they're ranked 19th right now. You know, the odds is pretty even. They have Clemson winning 50.1% versus UNC. So, you know, with the way that UNC has Clemson's been playing, and UNC is without their red hot starter, their freshman, I'm leaning more towards Clemson to pull off the upset right now. They're 23-9, trying to fight their way into the tourney. You know, they know what they have in front of them. So, you know, I'm gonna go with Clemson with this one.
Yeah, I like Clemson here too. I think North Carolina, after losing that star, it's just tough to kind of rebound after that, pun intended. But I think I want Clemson winning this one. I think that they're playing really good ball right now, and I think they're the 5th seed. North Carolina's the 4 seed. So I mean they're pretty comparable in seeding. So yeah, give me Clemson.
Yeah, I really want to go against the grain here, but honestly, I think Clemson is a big sleeper to pick, not only in the ACC tournament, but the entire college basketball tournament in general. So I'm also going to go Clemson with the upset here.
Y'all put me in a tough spot.
Do it. Be like
Be on the other fence. Be on the other side of the fence with this one.
No, I'm going Clemson. So the records are basically similar: 23-9, 24-7, both 12-6 in the ACC. Clemson 5th. North Carolina 4th, and y'all said it, North Carolina doesn't have their freshmen, so I think Clemson is going to take advantage of that, and I think they're going to win this one. So an absolute clean wipe. Clemson, we say, is going to win this one.
Although they're missing their freshmen, do not forget they do have Seth Trimble and Henry Vessard in that paint. Those are two quality starters that they have who can, fill the spot of Caleb Wilson. So although I did pick Clemson, I could honestly see it going either way. It's honestly whoever has the momentum and gets off to a hot start, that's who's going to dominate the game. But I believe that Clemson is going to get off to that hot start.
For sure. And then let's hop over to the NBA. One game, Celtics versus Thunder. This is a high-powered matchup, of course. Jason Tatum is back for the Celtics. So what do y'all got? Going to start with you, Noah.
I'm going to pick what a lot of people think is probably not going to happen, but I think that the Celtics are going to take this one. I think Tatum's going to be the big difference maker. That perimeter scoring and the spacing that he brings back, I don't think the Thunder are going to be ready for that. I'm going to go with the Celtics.
And we're 100% sure that Tatum's playing?
He played. He's back.
He already played?
Yeah, he already played.
Okay, because
ESPN
said that he's out with an Achilles issue. But if he's playing, I don't know if he's really going to be that big of a difference maker right out of the gate. So I'm going to go with the Thunder. One, because they're the Thunder and they're just beating the crap out of everybody. Yeah, Keyshawn?
You are correct. Tatum is out with the Achilles injury.
That's what I thought myself, but I thought he was back. So I don't know if he tweaked it or if they're kind of just putting him in sporadically, maybe here and there to kind of get him back into the flow of things. But I'm going to go with the Thunder if he's there, even if he's not. It's going to be, I think the Thunder are going to win this game in Oklahoma City. They only have 6 home losses. I don't think the Celtics are going to walk in there and beat them.
Yeah, I mean, this Thunder team, they're red hot, right? They're the favorite to win it all, at least for me. And, Shea's been on a dominant run. If he can stay healthy, he's likely going to win MVP again. So, I'm going to go with the Thunder here. Tatum apparently is out with the Achilles injury.
Yeah,
he's out with the Achilles injury. Maybe he tweaked that Achilles again trying to make a return. So, Tatum, that's going to be a huge factor. That spacing, that point forward that you're going to need on the side of not Jason Tatum, but Jaylen Brown. He's going to play a key factor. So the fact that he's out this game, that really benefits Thunder very well. So I'm going to lean towards them with this one.
I will say now, since Jason Tatum is apparently out, I do think the Thunder will win this one.
Okay.
Kind of have to backtrack there.
Quick pivot.
Okay, so I could go either way here. But I'm going to go the Celtics, and this is why. This is why. The Celtics hit threes left and right, and they do not miss. They have solid defense, and if they can stop SGA, I think the Celtics, they're going to have a plan for him, and I think they're going to shoot threes left and right, up and down, and they're just going to put it in the basket, and it's going to be amazing, and the Celtics are going to beat the Thunder, and it's y'all going to look at me and be like, Ryan, you were right, you're amazing, you're great. So, on that note, that is all the time we have for Sports Pack tonight. On behalf of Keyshawn Schrader, Noah, and myself, Ryan Kroger, thank you for joining us. This is WSN Wolf Sports Network.